Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast, all the stuff we didn't get to during the course of the show today. Before we get to Israel and Hamas and some of that stuff, because all that was breaking while I was on vacation, and I was chomping at the bit, and I did some deep dives of research into this, and one of the first things I asked Betty, because I know Betty tries to stay out of a lot of the heavy news.
Yes.
And I'm like, did you watch this, and were you in on it? And you said yes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did.
Okay, so we'll talk about that in a minute, but right now, I want to go back to something. We finished our last break of the podcast. If you've already heard the show, you'll hear that. But we're talking about validation, and when you get mad about something and somebody who you love, like, seems to take the other side of the other person when they're just trying to provide the playing devil's advocate or another viewpoint, and it really sends you through the roof.
When he says you, he means him.
Me, absolutely. Or people that are wired like me. Like, turns out Gavin has a friend.
Yeah, a friend of his got into a fist fight at a basketball game, and he wanted his wife to be like, oh, how dare them.
Are you okay, honey?
Yeah,
how about
but
that?
Instead she was like, you're not playing basketball anymore.
Yeah.
But here's what I would like to preface.
Yeah.
So, y'all get mad when your wives are like, I don't want you to fix it. I just want you to listen.
Yes.
That is the very same thing. So you might get frustrated because you're like, well, don't you want to get it fixed? No, she just wants to be validated.
Sure.
She wants you to listen and hear her reasoning as to why something is bothering her. Don't try to fix it. We're trying to fix it, and you don't want that. You want to be validated.
If you're so good at this as a woman, like, shouldn't you know?
Good at what?
Like, not like wanting to be heard but not fixed. You understand that, like, so when we come to you with something, you should understand, like, in your soul, oh, he just wants to pop off or be validated. Why don't I do that? Versus, you take the other side of someone else, or you provide the counterpoint to it, because if that's what you need, why don't you give that? How about that?
Well, you know what? We can all learn.
Yeah,
We're never too old to learn.
Okay, good.
And so, but I think it's good to say that y'all didn't realize that it is the same thing.
It is. No, that's a fair point.
I would like to preface it and just say, hey, this is the same situation.
Yeah. And even in his situation, when he was telling me that story originally, I'm like, I just want to know what happens.
Yeah.
They have a buddy who always films the game. So I'm like, do you have footage? I really want to see this. But then he was telling me his wife's reaction. And after validating the fist, I was like, oh, well, I can understand her reaction to not wanting you, her husband, the father of her 3 kids,
as an adult,
as a 35-year-old man,
getting in a fist fight.
I get that point of view. I think sometimes we get really locked in on initial reactions to things, because in that moment, like, you're at your most passionate, broiling point. Like, you want to have somebody have your back.
And sports too, like, someone gets a cheap shot on you, you react in the moment, and you react maybe how you wouldn't normally react.
That's how Wally acts in pickleball.
No, pickleball, I'm great. I am so chill.
The senior citizens that accidentally hit him in the gut, and he's like,
I got hit in the eye the other day, and I was like, it's cool, it's all right. Like, I'm so chill in pickleball. Like, if I was like that way in life,
you have glasses on.
I know, it hit me in the eye. I hit my glasses.
Oh, okay. Oh,
yeah. I mean, they're behind my glasses, so I'm still with the eye area. Good Lord, Gavin, you just turned into a woman there. You're like, just let me tell this. Sorry.
Don't put me in
excuse
category.
me.
I told my wife yesterday, we were coming home from vacation, and I told her, it kind of surprised her. I'm like, hey, I think I want to take some classes to learn how to fight. And she's like, what? Why? And I'm like, I've been watching a lot of TikTok videos of people
getting bullied a lot.
Yeah. Betty picks on me. I've been watching people like disarm people from like knives or guns, and we live in such a weird world. It would be awesome to have that skill. Like, do you see that footage of that guy that was standing just at the bus stop with his fiance, and he gets stabbed and killed like out of nowhere, and like and he did nothing wrong. And like, there's part of me that's like, I would love to have that set of skills, a particular set of skills that you could bust out, even at a party where you go, here, take this fork and try to stab me, and let me show you what I can do. And if you don't get stabbed,
this reminds me of
Michael
Dwight.
Scott. Oh, okay.
No, because Dwight did it, and he like ended up fighting himself. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I might want to look into a couple courses like Krav Maga or something like that.
Please.
Please do that.
Please.
And then we can do a thing where I'll give you a knife. I'll give you a real. Once I learn,
No.
I'll give you a real knife, and you can try to stab me.
No, never.
Yeah. You can do it.
You got to get real
fake knife.
You got to get. Oh yeah. Butter knife?
No, because I don't even trust you with a stick.
Okay.
No.
All right, I'll fight Gavin then.
Great.
Great. Now she's in. Did you have a nice break, Lady Rock? Because you were off the same amount of time. Gavin still had to come in and work because he doesn't have quite the vacation days, hasn't been here as long.
Yeah, I did. I ended up dog sitting for a friend of mine and got to just see some friends and catch up on things, which was a lot of fun. But I think we're planning on a slideshow for our Aftercast, a live Aftercast later this week, which will be fun.
We'll do a couple of those things. I had gone. I did it was weird. I felt like I was gone for a month because I did a day at Disney prior to going on like a short cruise, and then I came back and had a wedding to go to on my way home, and then picked up my mom, and she's staying with us now. So I had all these events inside of that week, that it felt like I was gone forever when I got home. But I got a couple pictures and stories we can do as well. All right, so let's get into the Hamas stuff. I remember watching this being like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. As any normal person would think, this is horrible. And I remember telling somebody, I'm like, the one thing I learned years ago, when like my dad talking about Israeli stories and things like that, is when you hit Israel hits you back harder. And you're like, I get it. I understand that, especially when it's an unprovoked thing. They have been fighting for thousands of years in that region.
Because it's all for a spot of land.
That very small spot of land.
They claim, both sides claim are their rights.
Yes.
That is their land, but others claim different.
Well, here's the thing. You have Israel, and inside of Israel you have what's called the West Bank, which I think used to be Samaria and Jordan, I forget what. And then you've got the Gaza Strip, which is attached to Egypt. And so the West Bank and the Gaza Strip are where a lot of Palestinians live. And the Gaza Strip exclusively Palestinian. The West Bank is actually, I think it's a little bit of both. But the thing about this is, and I did a deep dive on this, somebody had made a really interesting statement. There were a couple people I was watching talking about this. They said, if Israel laid down its arms tomorrow, there would not be peace, because in the charter of Hamas, it is to eradicate the Jew. And so if they lay down their arms, peace isn't coming. But if the Palestinians or Hamas laid down their arms, there would be peace, because time after time after time, Israel has been to the tables since 1917, 5 times with Palestine and the people in this region, and they have offered peace, and they have even given up more land at different times, and it was always broken. And they do not seek peace. And so when you see them come in and Hamas creates these atrocities, Israel is like, okay, you're getting hit hard. And Israel, I remember during the 6-Day War, they were not fighting just one country. They had countries ganging up against them, and they wiped them out in 6 days. It is the resolve of the Israeli people. And you have to, if you look at things biblically, he who blesses Israel shall be blessed. He who curses Israel shall be cursed. I don't know if I'm taking that fully out of context, but it's been the history of their country and their people, and so a lot of people too are making comments about the end times, and so I actually want to get somebody on to talk about that, or these signs of the end times. But I understand. I think the thing that bothered me the most was watching New York and Chicago and all of these pro-Palestinian protests of them spitting on Jewish symbolism. And I remember this one lady, I'll never forget her face. She's looking at the camera, making rubbing your eyes, boo-hoo-hoo, talking about, Jews that have been killed. And I get where they're coming from, because in this war and in these battles, innocents have been lost on both sides. So I understand that. But there's a difference between the tactics of the two sides.
Because doesn't the Israeli people, they give a warning to innocent civilians so that they can leave.
Before they went to Gaza and started bombing, they said, go, get out. Yeah. We are going to hit hard. They were calling owners of buildings they were going to strike, saying, get people out. We're in 2 hours or tomorrow, we're hitting
innocent people didn't get killed.
That's their goal.
Now, on the other side, the Palestinian Hamas group of people are going in and killing innocent people.
Absolutely.
And by innocent, I mean babies,
indiscriminately.
Elderly. It doesn't matter. But isn't there a difference between Hamas and Palestine?
Yes. This is the tricky part of it. Hamas is a terrorist organization that runs the Gaza Strip and runs a lot of things in Palestine. Okay, so with that, you do have innocent people that live there, can't leave, and are stuck, and they're caught up in the midst of this. And so you have that. So if people were saying, if on all these pro-Palestinian protests in the States, if they were saying, we support innocent people in Palestine, I get it. I understand that. But they are standing with Hamas. They are not denouncing Hamas and what they did. So at that point, you get what you get, and you're going to get the full wrath of Israel. And
you're supporting murder.
Yes. Yeah. Like Hamas they have had money, they've had opportunities to make that Gaza Strip a better place to live. And they took all this money that they've been given, and instead of using it to further the lives of these people, they've used it to build rockets and hide munitions and just like they're talking about how the water to the Gaza Strip has been cut off, and they're saying it's a humanitarian crisis, and they're blaming Israel. And Hamas actually dug up water pipes that were put in there and used them as rockets, like casings for rockets. So you're like, it is such a crazy mess. And I do understand, like, the innocent people on both sides. It's tragic. And my frustration in this is when you kill anybody's parent, for example, that kid is going to be raised to hate you. And so that cycle of hate, that generational hate, just doesn't go away. So Israel striking back really hard on people, and innocents get killed in this as well. I mean, it happens on both sides. Unfortunately, it's not going to quell that hate, because now it's going to probably reignite it for some people, and we are always going to be in this situation. Now, when there is peace in the Middle East, that's when you have to worry. Ironically, that is one of the major signs of the end times, is they say that there'll be a person that arises out of this that seeks to bring peace to the Middle East and does it, and everything looks great, and this is an awesome person, and that, according to biblical translations and prophecies, is what they think is the person that would be the Antichrist. And then you get into tribulation, and then where's the rapture happen, pre-mid, post-trib, and all that stuff. But there are people that are saying that this is a sign. There's people that are credible people too that are saying this is a big sign of the times, and they're saying watch Russia, what Russia does, because there's Gog and Magog in the Bible that refer to Russia and I think Iran. And if there is a treaty between those two coming from the north and then from the south, which is kind of what's happening with Hamas, they're like, that's the sign of the end times. And I'm like, oh, it's kind of interesting. So,
but then again, it also says in the Bible that
no man knows the hour or day.
Exactly. Right.
So yeah, like it'd be interesting, because if we were sitting here and we were like, that's happening and that's happening and that's happening, like it doesn't quite match up with the concept of us, not knowing.
We've always tried to figure it out. The disciples thought that the end times were happening, that Jesus was coming back in their day and it was going to be done, too. And every generation has thought that. My grandmother was crazy convinced of it in the 70s, Look at all the people of the year 2000 that lost their minds and stuff. So
what was happening in the 70s that she thought was...
I don't know. She was very much into TBN and the prosperity doctrine preachers and the Jim Bakkers and PTL and all of that, and the fear, because they were really selling the fear back then that really resonated with a lot of older people. So I don't know. I actually would like to get an expert on. We talked about getting Tara Lee Cobble on to talk about this, because she's done Revelation a whole bunch of times, and I'd love to know what her take on this is. I tend not to get too worried about it, but then, because I'm like, I doubt it, but when I heard people talking about it educatedly, I thought, oh, it's kind of interesting. Maybe, but even then, that person to bring peace to the Middle East, that could be 50 years, of that person trying to make this happen too.
Right.
So, who knows? Or it could never happen. So I don't know. But it was interesting. But I'm happy that you looked into this, Rock, and kind of studied it and watched it, because everybody was cutting down the video and not showing the horrific video. I saw a couple that hadn't been edited yet, and you're like, man, alive.
Oh, I did too.
Did you?
It was terrible. Like, and they don't give you, I guess I say they don't give you warning, but I was actually looking at a hashtag that was showing like the devastation that has happened. So I guess I was asking for it, but seeing some of the body cam footage of some of the Hamas people and what they were doing to people and to animals. Yeah. It was just so sad.
Well, I mean, and the psychological part of it where they were doing these horrible things to these people and then posting it on those people's Facebook so that people that loved them would all of a sudden, we got a message from them, bing, 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 and they're being tortured. Like horrible.
And I saw an interview of a dad, and he had a little girl that was over there in that area. And I guess he had heard that because she was in that area when the attacks happened, he was scared about what had happened to her.
Sure.
And then he got the news that she had died, that she had been murdered. And he said, I was so grateful. I was so thankful that she was dead because that is the best outcome.
Instead of captured.
Instead of being captured by them, because there was no telling what kind of suffering she was going to have to go through.
Yeah, the atrocity. And they were talking about, like raping and pervading these women's bodies around like that. You are a group of people that are supposed to be religiously based, and this is somehow in your religion to desecrate and ravish and destroy a woman and then parade this woman around. Like, how is that even remotely pleasing to your God? No it's idea. Godless. There's no God in that. It's depravity is what it is. But it's interesting because I think they're ready to go in. I think this week all the shelling was to prepare for the ground troops to go in, and they are not messing around, man.
For Hamas
Israeli,
to go in?
No, for Israeli army to go in.
Israel is firing back at them, and that's to prepare for their
correct. They're softening the theater of operation for the ground assault. There was another story too that I had seen. This older lady and her husband were taken hostage, and she was singing and cooking for them and trying to keep them happy. And there was one point in time where the guy pulled a pin of a grenade and held it to her head and was like, we're all going to die. Like, just psychological stuff, messing with them. But the lady's son heard all this happening and went to her house, and she answered the door but wouldn't let him in. And she did a thing with her face, her hand over her face. I think he was also a police officer because he had his gun with him, but she signaled that there were 5 people there. And it took till 3 a.m., but then the version of SWAT on the Israeli side stormed that house, took out all 5 guys, and the elderly couple was fine.
Holy cow.
Yeah, crazy town, the stories that came out of this. And it's sad that there are these stories, and there's going to be a lot more. And then Ukraine is like, hey, what about us? We're still over here fighting. It's so sad when you get down to it. And so much of this is over land and religion, and we just cannot figure out how to exist together peacefully. It's greed, it's brokenness, it's all of that stuff. So, with that, I know it's a ... and I get that. I understand that. But we had to talk about this stuff because I think it's important and things like that, too. And I had to kind of process it myself. I get why people do their own podcasts or they, do, stories and Instagram posts, because it's like we have a radio show and a podcast, so we're able to vent this stuff and figure it out. But people didn't used to have that. So now they have that ability, which is pretty cathartic in a lot of ways because you get to get your opinion out, even if it doesn't change anything. At least you're like, okay, I feel better. So, all right, what do you got? I know. What do you got?
Okay. A list was put together of the things that most people find disgusting. But this article that I found is a little confusing because it says a list online of things that people find disgusting, even though everyone else finds it normal.
Okay. And
what does that mean?
It's like something where it's like you may say that me, I don't know, never washing my beard is like disgusting. But I'm over here like, oh, well, it's normal, which I do wash my beard, by the way. Okay. But I'm like, oh, I think it's normal. It's not.
Well, Betty going 3 weeks without washing her hair is like,
yeah,
it's interesting.
Like that reaction is gross.
I'm not going to say disgusting because you're a beautiful young lady. Your hair always looks nice. I would When you start dating someone, I would hold that. I would hold that piece of information until after there's a ring.
It's too late.
There's a ring on your finger, and then you go, oh, by the way, I'm a disgusting human being.
All right, so I'm going to list a couple of these things. I'm going to see if you think that they're disgusting. Swimming pools. Do you think swimming pools are disgusting?
Public swimming pools?
If you think about it too hard and too long,
Listen,
yeah, sure.
When I was growing up, I went to a lot of summer camps, and we had like pool days, and it was probably like every Tuesday and Thursday. We would get called out multiple times because some kid decided to go number 2 in the pool. Okay. And all they're going to do is they're just going to fish it out.
Yeah.
And then they're going to let it sit there. Like the pool sit there uncontaminated now, but let the chlorine do its work.
Sure.
And then everybody just goes right back
in the pool.
Okay. Now, to me, pools are disgusting, especially when they have set aside like a baby pool, because then you see babies in there with their little swimmers or their little diapers. But on top of that, I would say hot pools. What do you call those? Hot tubs?
Yeah.
Are even more disgusting.
Human soup.
Oh, it's
yes.
a boiling
My
pot.
mom has said, she's like, just think about that water has gone into every crevice of every person.
So it's a pool.
Right.
Yeah.
That's I remember like seeing it was like a tweet about that where it was like you're like at a restaurant, you're like, imagine how many people have used this fork that's about to go into your mouth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They clean it. But
I know,
still,
but
imagine the thousands of people that have used it or have sat in said water.
Hot tubs to me, like if you're like, say you're on a cruise, and I always try to time it out. I don't do it very often, but every once in a while I'll use the hot tub, and I try to time it out so that like there's nobody there, and like that's okay. Like okay, you don't feel bad, but then there's always some guy that shows up with a hairy bag. It's like, hey, you got room for another? Oh,
this wasn't meant to be.
I know, and then
time
they
for
get
you
in.
and me, sir.
Yeah, and then it's like I'm out.
Hot tub water, it's not like it's boiling water. Because boiling water kills germs, does all that good stuff, but this is just hot water.
It's a bathtub.
When I was a kid, we went to the public pool because we didn't have a pool, and you had to walk through basically like a shower pan, in essence, like a small
that was worse.
Little shower pan that was loaded with chlorine for your feet, I guess.
Oh.
And you would step in that and walk through it, and it had the worst smell, and then you could go out and then get in the pool, and you had to shower before you got in the pool.
Why did it smell?
Because of all the chlorine. It was pungent.
Oh.
It was not like diluted at all. Like you'd step in and then your skin would fall off your foot as you took it out.
Try and have a good time.
Bad. But yeah, public pools. That was just one of the things on this list. What else you got?
Communal food like potlucks or pizzas for work or parties.
Oh yeah, I don't think twice about that.
No,
I don't think about that but I think it's different. Like let's say kids are involved.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been with people where I thought, okay, I'm going to meet them for dinner, and I know that they're bringing their kids with them. We are not going anywhere that has chips and salsa.
No.
Because the kid will do the backwash, dip the chip twice, and I'm not about that kind of life. To me, that's disgusting. Also, you think about back in the day when Pizza Hut had all their pizzas just sitting out,
on the
and
bar.
You could just take any piece you want. Yeah. What if you touched a piece and the kid was like, I don't want that anymore, and then they put it back and they get another?
I've watched adults do that. Yeah, I've watched adults do that.
Or what about like the Golden Corral, where you use the same spoon that everyone has used to dip your macaroni and cheese?
Yeah.
As the kids.
Yeah, I don't think too much about it. I try not to think about it. Like if you think about it, it gets worse.
Because
there's one thing that Wally does that is very disgusting that I think most of us could agree on, and that is every time you go to the bathroom, you never wash your hands.
Oh, well, just if it's a number one.
I don't. Yeah, I still don't understand how you
touch
can't.
the bathroom doorknob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I
like
contend
10 seconds of your time.
No. If they had like hand sanitizer, I would do that. I don't like washing my hands. I hate it.
There's hand sanitizer.
You don't hate it.
I do.
It comes down to your pride because you're like, I've changed so much for you, which is not
true. For you, Betty Rock. Yes,
That's not true. If anything, I've made you a better human being.
Yeah, but I've changed.
This one thing you have held on to the bitter end, and it's only because I think you could touch throw up and you'd be like, I'm not washing my hands. I don't care. No, because I've changed enough for you.
Yep.
And you would just go in.
Yep. See,
do you realize how dumb that is?
Do you change the cat's litter ever?
My wife typically does that, but I'll do it. Yeah.
Do you wash your hands after that?
Because no, my hands don't touch the litter. We have bags and stuff the way we do it.
You don't wash your hands after you clean the litter box?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Why would I?
And then
your whole house is contaminated.
My hands didn't touch anything.
It touched the thing, the handle of the.
No, it touches bags.
No, it doesn't.
Yes.
No, it touches way more than that.
No, I have bags, and I pull it up.
I can't.
Like
with
when
you.
I go out with
that is disgusting.
when I go out with a bag to pick up my dog's number twos.
Oh yeah.
I have to you invert the bag. You go down, you drop it into something else.
Sure.
I still come in and wash my hands because all there was a thin plastic bag separating me from their numbered doses.
Well, theoretically, though, it doesn't matter because it's not going to get through that bag, so it doesn't technically matter.
Sometimes it does.
Did you go to science school?
I did. I went to doctor school in science school.
Science school.
Because you don't know anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Anything else?
Moving on. Yes.
I'm going to come over there and wipe my hands on your face.
It's ridiculous.
He is the list.
People breathing, being in your face. So, someone's talking to you and you feel their breath.
Hot air.
What's weird is that the prompt on this was things that people think are disgusting that some people think are normal.
Yeah, who would think that's normal?
That's awful.
Yeah. Hearing someone with a heavy, productive cough, not a dry cough.
I love the word
the productive is good.
No, I do not want to sit here and listen to mucus being coughed up your
I would
lungs.
much rather hear the productive than somebody coughing 30 times and you're on that edge like, come on, you got it, come on, you got it. We were on that cruise. My wife was sick the whole time. She coughed like, oh my gosh. And then it would get worse. We'd be in like a crowded situation and she'd get hot and it would trigger it and then it wouldn't be productive. And so she had to walk out of places. Yeah, it was bad.
I honestly, I worry about this if I ever do find someone and I end up getting married. When it comes to...
When?
Yeah, when, not if.
Okay. When it comes to men having colds, I talked about this with my mom recently because you two have both dealt with some sinus issues, as have I. Men handle it differently from women.
Totally differently.
Men are more you do that sucking back thing.
Like
okay.
No, I was trying to describe.
It's disgusting. My dad does it too.
You are not going to do well.
And I cannot be in the same room. What I have to end up doing, and there's many times the conversations I've missed that y'all two are having, then you look at me like, did you hear any of that? No, because I have my headphones up because I cannot.
Gavin and I are afraid to sniff, believe it or not. We talked about this. We're like, I'm afraid to sniff with her.
Yeah. Especially in the mornings, at 5:15 in the morning when we're all researching stories and everything.
I go like this. I go. I'm afraid. We're both terrified.
I walk out of that room to blow my nose.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Blowing your nose is fine.
But that's disgusting to me.
No,
that's like
listen
a productive
to me.
cough.
No, listen to me.
That was disgusting.
Listen to me. It's different when you sit there at the beginning. Wally used to have a cold and he'd just go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unbothered.
Yeah, it doesn't faze me. Yeah, it doesn't faze me.
But if you just blow your nose and get it over with, great.
Can I just tell you the amount of disgusting things that you are going to have to endure when you find that special
that's
someone?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't know if I can do it. Because if he gets a cold, I'll be like, listen, you're going to have to go into the guest room because I cannot handle it.
That's not healthy.
Or maybe I'll go to the guest room.
Yeah, that's not healthy though.
You know what's not healthy is a grown 55-year-old man who doesn't wash his hands after going to the bathroom or lifting their pet cat's bathroom excrements and not washing their hands. Does she know that she does?
Yeah.
I'm gonna text her.
She gets on me too. But she's at least realized that he's not gonna change this. And I'm on and you've ruined it for her because I can't change it for you.
Fault.
Right. Yeah,
You're the victim.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Otherwise I would change it.
And then you get angry with me when you're like, yeah, she'll let me drink after, but she won't let me pick out a goldfish out of the bag. These are the reasons.
But I've altered and I realize it, so I just deal with it, and I will pour things into my hands. I'm a hero.
Gavin, you know what? You should be the hero here, and you know what? I should just tell Joy and Becca when they get on that side of the studio about the things you do where you don't wash your hands.
Yeah.
But Gavin, you could be a true knight in shining armor for everybody here if you Lysol'd that board after he's done.
Every day.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
Do you got birthdays?
What if you went to a porta potty? Would you wash your hands then?
A porta potty?
Oh, please.
Do I touch anything in the porta potty?
How do you get in?
You don't touch anything. Oh, use your pinky.
See,
do you remember that guy that used to work with us? I think you used to make fun of him. He never washed his hands because he said that it built up his immune system.
Oh, I don't remember who that was.
He worked upstairs.
He was tall. He dressed as NF for.
Yeah. I remember him.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
That was a part. That was a thing.
Once again, you know what? I'm just never going to get married because he was married too.
Yeah.
And I think happily still married.
I'm just telling you. I'm just
saying the bar is set really low.
Yeah, you're going to have some fights. Honestly,
women have to put up with a lot.
You are going to have some fights.
I know I will. So I don't know if I should do it.
The adjustment period is going to be fun.
Yeah. And especially because you're older now too, like where you're more set in your ways. Like you're less pliable when you get older.
I'm saying I might never get married. Here's the thing. I might meet a true gentleman.
Yeah,
someone who thinks about his hygiene.
You might.
And actually cares about the fact that he's got excrement on his fingertips.
I don't think that guy exists.
And he doesn't want to spread it to other people.
I don't think that guy exists.
You know what? I might find someone, godly Christian man who washes his hands.
Good luck, Godspeed. I don't think he exists. It's a unicorn. You just found the unicorn.
The other side of it is you find him, he doesn't sniff, he doesn't do all that.
Yeah.
But he's like the biggest Harry Potter fan.
Yeah.
He loves everything. He hates true crime.
Yeah, he can't do enough for you.
He does all of those things perfectly.
Yeah, no one will ever be enough, is what I'm finding out.
He wants you to play like flag
football. Do not make me the evil villain. You're the one over there with poop on your hands.
I don't poop on my hands.
Yes, you do. You don't know that.
Yeah.
I bet have you seen those TikTok videos?
If we swabbed your hands, I bet yours are worse than mine.
No, they would not.
Yeah.
No, they would not.
I bet it's worse.
Yours would be way worse.
I wouldn't want to do that.
All right. Well, let's do some birthdays. You got any?
Yes.
I have one before you get to those.
Go for it.
I think we missed this one. I apologize. We were probably out or something. But Zach says, hey, my daughter, Remy, it's her birthday.
Cute
and
name.
would love, I know, that is a good name.
Remy, wash your hands.
Yes. Would love a birthday shout out for Remy. And so, yes, happy birthday to you, Remy. Your dad loves you and want to make sure that you got your birthday wish.
It's precious.
Yeah.
I got a lot. The things that we missed out on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So buckle up. Here we go. Mason wants to wish his brother Cole, a.k.a. Cool, a happy birthday. Said loves DJing events, do Bible study with his friends, play video games. He's turning 15. Happy birthday. Joshua, he put his last name, Joshua. He celebrated his birthday on the 7th. He said, I'm turning 25. I graduated with a degree in worship arts. Wow. Amazing. We've got Casey, who wants to wish her husband, George. Oh, wait. She said Jorge. Casey wants to wish Jorge a happy birthday. Said, I love getting to watch him be a new dad to our 10-week-old twin boys.
Oh, wow.
More power to you. Melissa wants to wish her older brother Joey a happy birthday, turning 30 on the 9th. Then Abigail to Hattie, happy birthday. Justin celebrated a birthday on the 10th. Abigail celebrated a birthday on the 12th. Shirley to her husband Larry is celebrating today. Nice. And Larry is an avid listener and potty has been for a very long time. Happy birthday, Larry.
There you go. Whew. Got them all in.
I got plenty of good questions, but maybe we should wait till later.
Yeah, we're at 33, and we have to start preparing for the Dove Awards tonight. So we're going to go do the Dove Awards red carpet. So this week, I think they air on Friday, and so we'll have some of our audio and videos up after that. And so with that, that's going to do it. And thanks for being a potty.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.